Denise Mitchell.
Count Carla.
Who may be sharing?
Deputy Buckley, but he seems to have done a runner somewhere.
He's here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I want to welcome this motion before the House here today, and I also want to acknowledge and welcome survivors and relatives who are here in the gallery. The treatment of women and children in these homes, which was overseen by this state, is deeply shameful. The fact that so many children died in these homes, that they were disposed of in such an undignified and humane manner in Tuam, is utterly disgraceful. The fact that so many children were taken away from their mothers, were illegally adopted, essentially trafficked to the US, Britain and elsewhere. And for those children who were lied to and ignored, forgotten about by this state for years is shocking. The state was supposed to safeguard the well-being of all our citizens. Instead, it facilitated and it oversaw the ill treatment, neglect, abuse of our most vulnerable women and children. As the Minister is well aware, there is growing frustration among the survivor community over the failure of the government to deal with the issue of redress. And this has been compounded by the consistent delays to the final report of the Commission and the insistence that redress will only be considered after the final report is published. Minister, I want to again raise the case of the survivors of the Bethany home who find themselves wrongfully excluded from previous redress schemes. The Minister is well aware of this group, and this group of survivors is indeed very small and quite elderly. The government must do the right thing and ensure that these survivors receive appropriate redress for the hurt they suffered. So far, their pleas have fallen on deaf ears. Again and again, and I'll keep doing it, calling on you to reconsider your decision to refuse to allow this particular small group of survivors to access the redress scheme. In terms of the adoption scandal, the confirmation of this policy, which was essentially child trafficking, highlights the need for a comprehensive and properly resourced investigation. And that means all agencies, individuals and homes involved in adoption in this state. Just to remind people, the 126 cases of illegal adoptions which were initially identified last year account for only one organisation involved in adoptions. There is an estimated 182 such organisations were in the state. So this is potentially only the tip of the iceberg. Minister, I was dealing with a woman recently, an elderly lady who was informed that she was illegally adopted, and she had absolutely no idea about it. Can you imagine how a grandmother must feel to be told that she's adopted, to know that she will never be able to ask her parents her circumstances because they've passed on, to not know if she has any siblings? And I think you'll agree, this is incredibly upsetting and a shocking thing to find out. It's so wrong that there are people the length and breadth of Ireland and abroad who have no way of knowing their history or their identity. They don't know their medical history, and we cannot move on from this issue until we deal with it and its effects in a comprehensive and open way, because it's not in the past. For the woman I referenced, this is brand new information. It's in the here and it's in the now. And it's in the here and now for those people who don't know what happened to their loved ones. In recent times, we've seen relatives lodge missing persons cases with the Gardaí because despite decades of questions, they still don't know the fate of their loved ones. To those people, it's not in the past, it's in the here and it's in the now. We need to see justice. We need to get to the truth, and we need to see accountability. Too many have gone to their graves without justice or redress, and the government must show that it's willing to do all it can to right the wrongs of previous governments. Gurmahagut.